Hello and welcome to the Hypertrophy Odyssey chapter 372. It is the third day of the week, aka the Spirit Bomb workout. I am feeling very good right now. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. I have a very good feeling in the near future that the rise of vigilante justice is going to happen. And I have a feeling it's not going to end well. I think that the world, as it devolves into chaos, is going to slowly but surely get worse and worse to the point where people will take justice into their own hands, as we have been shown through many cases that the justice system has kind of failed us. And I understand why people would say, oh no, that's just for the movies, but I don't think that this is going to keep going with how chaotic the cities have become nowadays. I think that the justice that people feel is necessary will be taken into their own hands. And I don't think that many people are ready for that. I understand that there are a lot of people that are against the National Guard and all this other stuff, but I have a feeling that if they aren't set up in cities, it's just going to be pure chaos eventually, because I have a feeling that there's going to be a subsect of people who have had it with crime and all this other stuff, who are just going to say, fuck it, rules be damned, because the rules never really apply for the criminals, so thus the rules won't apply to me. So it's a very interesting subject, because I feel like this is kind of like the end state of the backwards and terrible court systems, to the point now where we have to deal with these types of things. I do think that we will probably see more and more of these cases, and we'll talk about a few of those and a lot of this stuff, but the fact that we are currently soft on crime is a huge problem. So we'll talk about that and a few other things when we get to Mother Base.
All right, so start this day off with AD press, which was pretty good. But anyways, back to the main subject matter for today. The rise of vigilante justice in the future. So the main reason why I wanted to discuss this is because, well, one, I'll be honest, during this episode, I had a hard time figuring out what the hell I was going to talk about, but this ended up becoming something that I wanted to talk about because I was thinking about this. I think that nowadays there are a lot of things that are happening, specifically with crime in the US, or just in general, where people are getting fed up with it, really. They are basically tired of what's going on. And I remember not that long ago, I saw an Instagram reel where this guy was going around and trying to be a vigilante. It wasn't anything crazy. And even years ago, back in the day, there was a guy in Seattle that was going around in a costume. I think he got stopped for some reason or another. I forgot what it was. But that actually happened. That was a thing for a little bit. But I think the rise of these types of things is just going to keep going up more and more as time progresses. Because I think that more people are just going to be fed up with trying to wait for the system to do anything, and or knowing that the system will probably fail you. I think that because we are now soft on repeat offenders a lot of the time, a lot of these people end up going free and then doing crime again. And I think that we are going to see more and more people just put justice in their own hands. I don't think that this is far off from what will be happening in the future. I think that most people are too fed up with so many things, especially in injustice when it comes to the justice system, as a lot of things take so long and it's so bogged down by certain things. Now, you can look at other countries and they're not doing any better when it comes to it. I think that it's going to be a thing where if you feel like there's more injustice happening within your country's borders, it's just going to keep going on and on. A complete opposite example of this would be from El Salvador, who just decided, fuck them, and just threw in all the people that were committing crimes into the super secure, safe jail, because they were like, all right, screw this. They're just going to basically keep raping and killing people, so let's just lock them up and then call it a day. And they have, and the country has been prosperous ever since. They haven't really had to deal with too much. I think they went from the highest murder per capita rate to the lowest murder per capita rate in all of Central and Southern America, actually possibly in the world. It's really, really fucking low to be for the crime there. So it's great in a certain sense. But of course, those types of things wouldn't happen here in the US because that's a little too, against human rights or whatever stupid thing that they would have. Plus, the idea that basically jails have been commercialized to the point where if they aren't profitable, then what's the point of making them, which is the stupidest thing ever, honestly. And I think that with the entire being soft on crime, specifically in cities where crime is very much a problem, I think that we are kind of in a death spiral in certain areas where people are just going to start saying, fuck it, I'm carrying a gun. If somebody gets killed, okay, it's their fault. And I wouldn't say I want to see that. I don't think that we should, but it's more of a telling of a failing of our system. I really do think that there's going to be some guy that's going to become the equivalent of Batman somewhere in a major city coming near you, honestly. And I don't think that this is too far-fetched, particularly because how chaotic certain cities are, specifically when they have certain ideas or certain people going around not giving a fuck and really just taking the city as their own, and thus causing the innocent bystander to become a innocent gunned down person. So I think that it's going to be one of those things that we will see eventually somebody getting the mantle known as the Chicago Batman or something along those lines. I feel like you can start to see the rumblings of these types of things, specifically with those who are predators who are getting caught most of the time doing stuff. You can see that people are doing this over and over again to escalating situations. Obviously, these people are scum, the people who are predators, but that's just, I feel like that's going to also keep ramping up as these people are going to get caught and doing the terrible things that they're doing. People are just going to start taking justice into their own hands because sometimes these people get off with no criminal record, crime, or anything like that. They get off scot-free because there's not enough evidence or some type of bullshit like that, when in reality, that they're doing these types of things. And of course, we shouldn't take justice into our own hands, of course, but they're just going to keep getting away with it. And then there's going to be somebody or some people that are just going to say, fuck it, and then call it a day for them, obviously. And though I don't condone that type of stuff, if it happens, I'm not going to condemn it necessarily. It's just a thing that happens. That's the way of life.
And we're back. Welcome to the workout debriefing. Exercises not filmed, none. Exercises skipped, also none. Got everything in, thankfully. But anyways, to the main subject matter at hand here today. There will be a rise in vigilante justice in the near future, I have a feeling. The main reason why I want to discuss this is because I don't want to condone this entire idea of vigilante justice on the rise, but I feel like this is the type of scenarios that we're reaching where people are going to take matters into their own hands as things fall into chaos, because realistically the systems that have been put in place aren't doing their job anymore. So because of that, they are going to say fuck it and just do it themselves. And I'm not condoning this. I think there's going to be a lot of retards that are get killed. But hey, at the same time, it's just going to cause more and more chaos. And until we fix the system, realistically, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. So I have a very good feeling that this is going to happen a lot in random cities. I've already seen one guy on Instagram that already makes videos about this type of shit. So it's already slightly started, but it's going to get bigger and worse, and more people are just going to get killed straight up. So I think it's going to get very interesting and bad before it gets good, because realistically we won't do anything about criminality or anything like that, or we'll put people who make fun of the government on the internet for some reason in jail, rather than murderers and actual criminals and people who do terrible things like rape. Forget those people. They've had a hard time in life. We let them go for some reason or another, which is a whole other story for a whole other subject. But it's just an interesting thing, because I feel like more and more as we progress into these crazier times, I think more and more things that are fictional will become reality. I think we've seen that in so many things now, all shapes, fashion, and forms. 1984 was a meme as like for the longest time on the internet, but now it's honest to God true when you have emojis being banned off of platforms that should tell you everything that you need to know. But that's for a different day. And with that being said, though, tell me what you think in the comment section down below. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions about this one. I personally just find this an interesting thing to at least observe from the outside. Luckily, I don't have to spend too much time in the city, but then again, the city right next to me is DC, so it's being guarded by National Guard, which for the most part, has kind of made it safer. But you know, it is what it is. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video with anybody who may or may not like it. I will be back on tomorrow with a new video. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Keep it heavy. Stay safe out there and stay warm. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.